If you've ever ran any published adventure or module, you've presumably read a synopsis. And this synopsis includes how the campaign starts, how it probably goes in the middle, and presumably how it ends. Of course, these usually come out in big old text walls. Me personally, I can't read those things and actually visualize it. That's why I like to actually put it down to visualization, like this flowchart of adventure. I've seen these in some adventures, not all of them though, and what I would recommend is always making a flowchart for your adventure. This flowchart here was created in the span of just a few minutes, and I feel like just over the course of those few minutes, I actually constructed a pretty cool adventure here. We start off in a city, we meet some people, we get some info, we get some quest, and then it goes down and down. I'm not going to go through it all because it's quite a lot, but you can pause to look at it. But it eventually boils down to you having options, and very, very important is it's very brief. We get simple little things there on what makes the adventure. So I'm going to talk about why have a flowchart for your adventure. First off, it keeps you on track. Because when I go to sit down to run this adventure, boom, I could pull this thing up and I know where the adventure is going. I know for a fact that they are at some point going to go here, or they could potentially go there. And whatever the case may be, I can work with it. Something very important to consider is that these are very brief things, very simple words and sentences. I can add to it later when I need to. I can have the synopsis right here, and I don't need to have every little minute detail boiled down right from the get-go to start this adventure. No, of course not. I only need those simple ideas that I can work off the top of my head, or I can just allude to some things, but as the time goes on, I will add more to it later. For example, being on here, I have the big bad goes to the temple. I don't know what that temple is right now, but I don't need to know. I'm going to add to that later, but that's much later on in the adventure, so I've got plenty of time. Another great aspect of having this visualization of the adventure is it reminds you to foreshadow things. It's the fact that I can look at this thing, and not only am I using it for myself, but I'm using it for my players. I can say, as my party goes through the adventure, I can foreshadow some things like, okay, let's see here, boom, there is going to be a betrayal. Maybe I could possibly foreshadow that betrayal going on later on in the adventure. Now, much like anything in life, the more you do it, the better you get at it. When I read the adventure synopsises in many adventures, yeah, I can get a brief idea of what's going on, but of course, a lot of times I do have to sit there and read it all. With this, I can read all of this and I know how the adventure is going to go. The more you do it, the more you make flowcharts like this, the better you're going to get at it with exact wording and possibly different scenarios. You're going to get more creative as time goes on, and your flowcharts are going to get better and better, and thus your adventures are going to get better and better. And much like how I alluded to in the beginning, it takes up so little time. Whether you are doing this for a pre-established adventure and you are just taking words on a page and then transforming them into a flowchart, or you're making your own adventure, taking just a few minutes to draft up something like this takes up no time at all, but I promise you it's going to help out extremely well. Like I said, I only made this in a few minutes, but I really want to run this adventure. I just totally came up with it off the top of my head. Having a flowchart for your adventures is a great way to keep track of what's going on. This is similar to a point crawl in a sense, but instead of the point crawl being for the adventure zones and adventure areas, this is more of a flowchart of just the adventure as a whole. Now, of course, this isn't going to work with every type of adventure. This is not going to work for a sandbox style adventure, but of course, you get what you get when you run a sandbox style adventure, right? This definitely works well with railroaded or roller coaster style adventures, but of course it is technically possible to make it for a sandbox. You just got to get a lot more creative, and you probably have to go in more than one direction. In all of the 5th edition modules, there's something similar to a flowchart of adventure, but it's not like this. They are typically showing off what the synopsis is of each chapter, but those aren't really that good. In fact, now that I think about it, I probably should make some of these for the 5th edition modules. So I'll tell you what, if I get enough likes and if people comment down below begging for it, I will make some of these for the 5th edition modules that you know and love. So go ahead and tell me, do you need a flowchart of adventure, or are you okay with just reading through the book and you're good to go? Are you typically good with foreshadowing, or are you like me and always forget? And do you want to see a flowchart of adventure for all of the pre-made modules? Go ahead and tell me down below. I would love to hear it. But that's going to do it for me. Thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. And thank you to my amazing patrons. You guys are absolutely incredible. Thank you so very much. And I cannot wait to see you all in the next one.